Hi everyone, good morning. Welcome to the fifth lesson of this course, Tuesdays with Mori. I'm Abhishek TR and I'll be your presenter today. Here's a little information about who I am. To follow my latest courses, do follow me on an academy. Today, we'll be talking about two beautiful feelings, a love and another important thing in life, marriage. This being the ninth and the 10th Tuesday, with Mori's condition deteriorating day by day. This is the point where Mori goes on saying, when you're in bed, you're dead. That's the new aphorism he came up with, but it moved Mitch a lot. Anyway, Mori had been getting calls from the interviewer. Remember the Nightline program that we spoke about in the first lesson? They have been contacting Mori a lot again to talk about his latest life. I mean, there's no life, but there's always the point of increasing the TRP with an old man dying and talking about philosophy, right? That is what they were supposed to do. But here's what Mitch had to say. I'm using them. I'm using these people, even though they're using me for a little drama. I'm using them to help my message get to millions of people. So this is how the conversation starts. And then gradually they start talking about love. Mitch was kind of worried that Mori might be forgotten after he's dead. But Mori had to say something very beautiful. When you're in people's memory, there's no point and there's no way that you're going to be forgotten. When I'm dead, I don't think I will be. I've got so many people who have been involved with me in close, intimate ways, and love is how you stay alive, even after you're gone. Deep set philosophy, but that actually is kind of true, right? Every time Mori keeps on saying that he's going to die, it brings tears in Mitch's eyes, but he makes sure he doesn't cry. And here's something funny that he says. One of these days, Mitch, I'm gonna get you. When there was a real little silence between them, Mori starts talking about his tombstone. Wait, everyone would have wondered what would I write if I had a tombstone in it, right? And this is what Mori wanted on his tombstone. I was thinking of this, a teacher to the last. Quite beautiful, isn't it? You must be wondering right now. I mean, this guy told me that he'll be talking about love and marriage, but there's no point here. Well, when I said love, it doesn't mean hanging out with the person you care the most all around the city and then dropping in romantic dialogues. It can also mean loving the person you're talking to. That means that you're living in the present moment. Here's Mori's take on it. I believe in being fully present. That means you should be with the person you're with. When I'm talking to you now, I try to keep focused only on what is going on between us. I'm not thinking about something we said last week. I'm not thinking of what's coming up this Friday. Most of us in this generation don't actually have the habit of living in the present moment, do we? Wherever you are, you keep thinking about the next moment. Let's just say you're having a beautiful breakfast. But there's no point because once you can't feel its delicacy, then what's the point? You're thinking about the next assignment, you're thinking about the meeting, and God grace, you forget the right moment. But why do we actually do all that? We keep running everywhere, we're always in a hurry, we shout in the traffic. We don't actually have found meaning in our life, have we? So we're running all the time looking for it. They think the next car, the next house, the next job, that will bring them happiness. When they find those things, they find that they're empty and they keep running again and again. This is the never running vicious cycle of life. With that, Mori starts talking about the art of listening as well. Most of us have lost this art these days, right? I mean, we're pretty cool with small talk. What do you do? Where do you live? But listening to them and understanding what the other person has to say to you, that is kind of difficult for the current generation. It might be due to attention deficiency, or it might be because you might be preparing for the next reply. But listening thoroughly to the other person, it's not just a task, it's an art. And once you master the art of listening, I bet you'll make sure you'll be one of the interesting person in your locality, in your office, in your life as well. So, here's a little task before we end this session. Pick up your phone, call that friend who hasn't called you in ages and ages. Ask him how he is and let him talk. On the other hand, you just listen and you don't reply. Trust me, this will work out really well and it will change you. That's your little exercise for today. With that, we'll be moving on to the next Tuesday, the 10th Tuesday, on marriages. How did you meet your soulmate? Mitch had been married to Janine for a really long time, and Janine wanted to meet Mori at least once. And at one time, Janine did meet Mori, and they struck a conversation like they have been talking in ages and ages. And Janine was a really great singer, and Mitch wanted Janine to sing a song. A little song, very noble. The very thought of you and I forgot to do, the little ordinary things that everyone ought to do. Mitch dwelled in the moment, and he was enjoying every little moment that Janine was sharing with him. It was actually beautiful looking at a child enjoying his time with a newly met person. Since Mitch had brought his wife, Mori decided to talk about marriage. Though it was getting difficult for Mori to breathe, he made sure that the lessons went on and on. When Mori spoke about marriage and the current generation, he felt that they seemed to struggle with the commitment. I mean, in this culture, it's so important to find a loving relationship with someone because so much of the culture does not give you that. But the poor kids today, either they're too selfish to take part in a real loving relationship or they rush into marriage and then 6 months later, they get divorced. They don't know what they want in a partner. They don't know who they are themselves. So how can they know who they're marrying? Thoughts to ponder upon there. And how do you expect everyone to follow the same rule? You might be wondering, yeah, that's probably true because we do have so many problems these days. And what is the solution for that? Well, Mori has an answer for that as well. Here's a little secret, you can write it up somewhere. A loved one is so important. You realize that, especially when you're in the time like Mori is, when you're not doing well. Friends are great, but friends are not going to be there at the night that you're coughing and can't sleep, and someone has to sit up all night with you, comfort you, trying to be helpful. If you're married and you're watching this video right now, think about your wife and think about the time when you were sick and when she was the only person sitting beside you. It might have been your mom, but then having a partner who can be by your side till you grow old, that is something to cherish upon. That brings us to the basic rules of marriage. I might sound like a philosopher here, but this is what Mori had to say and it has nothing to do with me. Anyway, here are a few rules that you can implement in life if marriage is something that is not your cup of tea and you might actually want to improve your life a bit. Anyway, here it is. You'll have to have respect for the other soul. If you don't have respect, you're going to have a lot of trouble. You'll have to compromise at situations as well. If you're not going to compromise, again, you'll have a lot of trouble. And then we have open talks. There are times that we don't share our secrets with them, but that's fine. That's the personal line. But there are times when you have to have an open talk and you're not supposed to keep it hidden. You'll have to know when to make a difference. And then there are values. And values are very important. Your values must be alike. That brings us to one of the most beautiful and valuable values. You believe in the importance of your marriage. Once you believe how important the other person is in your life, I'm pretty sure nothing can break you apart. With that, I'll say goodbye for today. And well, I have to give you some assignment, right? Okay, let's just see. Okay, simple task. For the next 21 days, spend most of your time listening to people and not talking. Make sure you talk a few words, but make sure that you let them talk and you listen. Come back and comment on how interesting you'll become, and this is how the society works. Trust me. Anyway, see you in the next class. Bye bye. Good night. Okay, I was supposed to say sayonara. So yeah, bye bye. See you in the next